Good afternoon, everyone. For those of you who still don't know who I am right now, I'm Joanne Jobe, and I'm the founder and CEO of the event. I hope you've all been having a great conference experience. It's my great pleasure to introduce, for the very first time, our Newfoundland and Labrador Spotlight. This spotlight will be moderated by our very good friend and supporter, Angie Stockley, President of Blue Ice Gold and SSAF Exploration. Angie?
Thank you for that warm welcome, Joanne, and welcome everyone, and thank you for being here for our first panel for Newfoundland and Labrador, specifically around Newfoundland's global position and opportunity. And I thank my esteemed panel for being here with me today as well. I'm actually going to have them introduce themselves. And we have a very short time frame, and they have so many credentials, they could probably take 30 minutes each, but I'm going to make them have it short and sweet.
All right, I'll kick it off. My name's Darren Cooke. I'm the CEO of Firefly Metals, and we've just recently acquired the Green Bay project in northern Newfoundland. Basically, it's a large copper project. Extremely large resource. It's 40 million tonnes at a grade of 2.1% copper, and we're looking to rapidly expand the resource and bring the mine back into production.
Hello, my name is Paul Carter. I'm Executive Director with the Department of Industry, Energy and Technology with the Provincial Government of Newfoundland and Labrador. Currently working on various mineral-related files within the department, but I guess more particularly, I've been very active in terms of developing a provincial critical minerals plan for the province, and as well as implementation. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello, my name is Garrett Macdonald. I'm the CEO of Maritime Resources. We've got a high-grade gold project in Newfoundland and Labrador. We've been through a feasibility study. We own our own processing facility, and we've recently gone through the entire permitting process in the province. And Firefly Metals is actually an equity owner of Maritime as well, so there's a lot of things that we're working on that are very exciting. We're happy to be in the province and look forward to more to come.
Great, I'm Jeff Swinoga. Been in mining for about 25 years, running a gold exploration company in Newfoundland, beautiful Newfoundland. And our property is just north of Newfound Gold. We had our first gold discovery last year, which was fantastic. We got about $6 million in cash. Eric Sprott owns about 16% of us, and Newfound Gold themselves actually owns 8% of us. So.
Thank you, everyone. I wanted to start with an overview and a perspective from everyone on what makes Newfoundland and Labrador is such a great jurisdiction to be mining and exploring in. Darren?
Yeah, well, we're only a fairly new entrant to the province, and you know, we did a lot of work on jurisdictional risk during the due diligence before we decided to enter and explore there. And look, the key thing that really stands out to us is how great it is to work with the local communities. They're extremely supportive of mining and progress and development. And the other thing is, it's been amazing the support that we've had from the provincial government with Paul and the rest of his team. You know, it is a big risk, and it's a question that I get quite a bit in Australia, you know, because there's a perception that Canada can be very difficult to operate in. But what people really need to understand is that Canada, like dealing with the different provinces, is like dealing with different countries. And, you know, each province is very different, and I can be nothing but complimentary of the support and, you know, everything that's been provided to us from the province.
Thank you. Paul, I'm going to come to you last to do a bit of the government perspective.
Sure,
so I'm going to move ahead to Garrett, if that's okay.
Yeah, no, I've got nothing but great things to say. We've, it's a small company. Our market cap's about 35 million, so we're on a little bit of a different track than a lot of junior companies. We're in the development phase now, so we've got a high-grade asset that we're ready to develop. We have a processing facility, been through permitting, but we also have that exploration upside that's coming in from behind, and we'll fill in the mine life, and we see a lot of potential to grow what we have. But as somebody who came in for about 5 years, I've been working in the province, and it's come a long way, and we've had great support from the local communities. There's everything that we need to develop a project is there. So we have skilled labor, we have infrastructure, access to power. There's a regulatory framework that works for us, and we're excited to get going. We're getting very close. Next thing we have to do is raise money and build the project. Yep.
Perfect. Jeff?
Yeah, so short story, a couple years ago I was doing more of a relationship management role, and I told my wife I'm going back into mining. And she goes, because I worked in Mexico, South America, Africa, and I said, I'm going back to mining. She's like, oh, let me guess, Africa again. And I said, no, Newfoundland. She was, oh my God, thank God. And, but no, honestly, you can see the rankings being top 10 in the world for jurisdictions, but I got, the government's been fantastic. They're behind, new mines, new development, exploration, the people, the power, the infrastructure. But honestly, you hear stories, like even I heard a story last night where someone was cycling across the province. And that was the plan, to go for 10 days of cycling. And it turned out to be raining the first 2 days. So this couple took them in, fed them, had them stay overnight in the son's bed, and for 2 days they stayed an extra night. So it's like the people are just fantastic, and the stories that you hear about the kindness is just fantastic. So anyway, it's a great jurisdiction.
Yeah, very true. You are all welcome to come to my house if you visit Newfoundland and Labrador, cycle or otherwise. Paul, if you could give us some perspective on the Newfoundland government's perspective, sorry.
Sure. I guess as government, we're trying to position the province, of course, as a globally recognized jurisdiction for mineral development and production. We're striving, I guess, to, move forward, being very inclusive, environmentally, socially responsible, innovative, and a jurisdiction that looks to maximize opportunities through effective collaboration. And that collaboration can be in many different forms, be it directly with industry, within the province itself, internationally, nationally, and looking to collaborate and look to be able to build partnerships to advance the industry, through all stages of critical mineral development. I think as a government, we kind of pride ourselves on being very accessible to industry and responsive to their needs.
Yeah, very true. Actually, Garrett, I wonder if you could pick up on that accessibility theme. You shared a little story with me yesterday about just how accessible the Newfoundland and Labrador government can be.
Yeah, it's been great for us. We were in the process of buying some infrastructure in the province, and we had I don't know if there's any lawyers in the room. I hope not, but lawyers fighting with each other and getting together and just taking some extra time. But what we needed was a little bit of help to kind of break a logjam and get things going. And it was actually the province that they made it happen quite quickly. So a couple of phone calls, and we knew who to talk to. And that's the good thing about Newfoundland and Labrador is you have access to the people that you need and when you need it. So they're very helpful. We were able to get this logjam settled on a Sunday afternoon, and come Monday morning 9 a.m. we were good to go. So that's a good example of the support and the commitment, I think, that they provide, and we were very happy with that.
Yeah, pretty amazing. Paul, would you say that is the standard for the level of accessibility?
Well, I guess, there's always matters that need to get resolved, and, but certainly up in the foremost and forefront of all of this is that, working through our regulatory process, we need to be very efficient about it and recognize, of course, we don't compromise one for the other. But when we know there's a need and industry, needs something, we'll do our best to try and accommodate and, make that happen. And I think as a government and as a jurisdiction, we clearly recognize, you know, the importance of certain milestones, permitting, and ability to generate cash and investment into the various projects. So we're very attentive to that.
Wonderful. Jeff, I wanted to put a question about collaboration and support in all levels, you know, from the local community through to the juniors, the prospectors, the different associations that are in mining, and the government as well. If you could take it from the perspective of what's a really great example of collaboration that you've had.
Yeah, it's a great question because you know, I've worked on many projects, I'm sure like many of my colleagues here, and again in more challenging jurisdictions. And the lesson learned for me is always it takes a village, town, city, province, country to really get behind a project to move it forward. And in what we're seeing in the province is that fabric is there all the way from the local community. You know, we try and do as much engagement as possible. We have all local staff. Like we're super happy. You know, either from Gander, from Gambo, or from St. John's. They want to stay working in the province, right? So we're happy that we've had no turnover really. So it's been fantastic. But I guess maybe I guess a short story about giving back. Two of our geologists, Nate and Casey Stone, did a cookie example to young kids at Gander Elementary School about what's mining all about in a sort of baking cookies example. And of course, at the end during reclamation, you get to eat the cookies. So it's quite or cleanup. Maybe it's cleanup. Maybe eating is the production. But it's just a great example about how we're giving back, because we're feeling how to describe it, feeling the appreciation, the love, from all different levels. And of course, we are values-based exploration company, so we really care about our values and how we reflect those values. We don't necessarily have them on our website, but we embody them and we like to reflect it that way. So anyway, hopefully that's an adequate story for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know Jeff's team really, really well. His project is actually in my backyard, literally. And I grew up with a lot of people on the team, and I know firsthand how social value is a really important foundation to what you do. And you've got a very committed team there that's very proud to work with Exploit.
Yeah.
So
Well
done. On the collaboration front, I know even the mining companies, the exploration companies collaborate together, and we have two good examples here with Firefly and Maritime. If either of you could take and explain that a little bit.
Yeah, well look, we've all got common goals, and we really want to see Newfoundland and where Garrett and I are in the Bay Verte Peninsula, in that area, we want to see it thrive. And like, there's advantages in working together. There's been a lot of isolated pockets of great work done, lots of isolated pockets of great exploration. There's been isolated pockets of infrastructure here and there. And there's a real opportunity there to assist each other and leverage off working together for the common benefit. And you know, Garrett's doing a great job with the Hammerdown project and getting that off the ground. He's got the Pine Cove project, and a recent example of that is where we've managed to secure access to Garrett's port, you know, which enhances the economics of our project, because they were previously trucking at 140 kilometres. This is only 6 kilometres from our mine, so that is a great example of us being able to work together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's. I think that's the key to success. First of all, we're on an island. We're kind of remote, and I think to extract a lot of value that's up there in the Bay Verte District that we see, the companies can work together to make that happen. Whether it's through shared infrastructure or jointly exploring for different minerals, all that's on the table because it adds value to shareholders at the end of the day and the communities, which is great. So we're wide open for those kind of ideas. Another example that we're working on as well is there's a private aggregate company on site who's actually mining through waste rock from the old mine that was there once before. It's crushed, it's washed, it's actually loaded onto ships, and it's sent down to Florida for construction aggregate. So it's good for us because they're reducing our environmental liability at the same time. There's jobs available for people, and it opens the doors for some pretty cool ideas with using the port to export copper concentrate, or even bringing materials in potentially for some toll milling in the future. So it's great. There's great infrastructure, and we're just trying to make the best use of it for the benefit of everyone.
Mm-hmm. I was just at a mining event in Bayvert last week, and I saw the support, like literally every single person in the communities that you're a part of are behind what you're doing, which is really amazing to see. Whatever anybody can do, however they can be engaged, it's really pretty powerful.
Absolutely.
But the next thing I wanted to talk about was the consolidation opportunity in the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, not just from the perspective of consolidating properties, but also consolidation of exploration efforts. Darren, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, one of the things that we noticed when we looked at Newfoundland was that there was a lot of smaller operators around there, and particularly Angie and her friends who are prospectors, and they've done a great job staking ground and advancing projects. But some of the things we're looking at is trying to consolidate some of the land packages to actually do a large-scale, systematic, modern exploration campaign. And one of the things that really stands out about the province is that there's been such a lack of investment in exploration on a large scale over the last 20 or 30 years. It is primed for making discoveries. And my view is the best way to do that is to start consolidating some of these ground, applying some of the broad geophysical techniques that we have, and really hammering it hard. And the only way to do that from a regional context is consolidation. And whether that's through M&A activity, but I think what we're already seeing in the province is actually cooperating with our neighbours. It's not necessarily a competition if we can get to the greater good. So things are moving forward in that direction.
Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of opportunities for these hub and spoke models to develop. We have up in the Bayvert district alone, or down by Gander, there's a ton of potential. And if we can make use of existing infrastructure, because it takes time and it takes obviously a lot of capital to build these projects. And we're in a cyclical kind of world that we're in with minerals, but here we are at $4.50 copper and $2,300 gold. It's the perfect time to get creative and see what we can do together. Yeah.
Jeff, in the Appleton Fault area, the central, I'll call it the overall central Newfoundland gold trend, there's been talk about potential consolidation. I wondered what your thoughts were there about the potential and or necessity for that consolidation.
No comment. Yeah, well, what Angie's talking about is there's a recent transaction there where along this Appleton Fault, it's like a 100-kilometer fault line. There's multiple faults in the province, but this one's getting the most love on the eastern side. And there's been 3 players there: Newfound Gold, a billion-dollar company, 20 gold discoveries, fantastic company to emulate. And then there's Labrador Gold and ourselves. Labrador Gold did a transaction where they sold their property for 20 million of Newfound shares, and that vote's coming up soon. But I guess to your point, Angie, about understanding your vision and purpose for the company. And so they've made decisions to focus on their Labrador nickel and maybe another project that sort of comes up. And we're continuing to focus on the Appleton. We sort of see, I call it Newfound Gold's in blue and we're in yellow, so we see a sea of blue and yellow on the Appleton Fault. And so there's 2 strong, they're a billion-dollar company, we're a 13 million market cap company. So we're hopeful to become the number 2 in the region in the sense of the next Newfound Gold. So we're working hard to do that. We think we have all the elements, all the fabric to do it. Whether there's more consolidation along the way, we're always looking for opportunities. We got lots of properties. Maybe there's option agreements that people could option into our property. The key thing is that when you see properties being held on to and not work being done on them, that's not really, in my view, in my opinion, a service to the province. Because the goal is, it's such a great environment. The early days of the Abitibi, if you want to call it, if you fast forward, 50 years from now, this could be a huge, expansive area of mining and extraction for critical minerals and for gold and nickel and otherwise. So consolidation, I think, is going to happen. But it's going to take a little bit of time, and I think also there's great ways to figure out how to get access to a property to do work on it, if that makes sense. So I think there's a lot of conversations happening.
Absolutely, I agree with that. Paul, I'm going to switch over to critical minerals now, and lots of questions for you. You recently released the Critical Minerals Plan, which I have a copy of here. And I wondered, what are the key takeaways from that plan?
Well, I guess, and very similar to my original comments, about being recognized as a globally competitive mineral producing region, a region that, is mine friendly in terms of its development. Certainly, as a jurisdiction, we have a very strong record of mine development and bringing it to its, actual operations phase. There's a couple of, real interesting points within our critical minerals plan in terms of the way that we've approached building our critical mineral list. And again, it kind of goes back to the importance of partnerships and collaboration. I guess for us, we took a very serious, hard look around the world in terms of, like-minded countries as ourselves or jurisdictions, look at their critical mineral lists and kind of look at where there's opportunities because of the vast potential in Newfoundland Labrador for minerals, where we might be able to participate in supply chains around the world and forming those international partnerships. But also as well, I guess at the same time, we're looking at climate change and adaptation, we're looking at the energy transition, and there are clearly opportunities where we see very significant strategic opportunities for the province to further its economic security, if you will, and develop, new supply chains or expand upon existing ones. So it's about collaboration, it's about partnership, it's about openness, transparency, and recognizing the importance to get this job done. And as a jurisdiction, we're very welcoming of all of the mineral investment that we do see. And certainly want to see that continue. The one thing I will mention very quickly, of course, is the, and perhaps a little bit different than you see on many critical mineral lists around the world, is as a jurisdiction, we were the first, as far as I can read or see, to actually designate high-grade, low impurity iron ore as a critical mineral in our plan. And, certainly we see a great future for that particular resource which the province has and its ability to decarbonize steel production, and it's something we're very, very impressed about, and if you look at it, it's very forward thinking, and I think it demonstrates our leadership in terms of a jurisdiction in these areas. And one thing I would like to say is, while we talk about our critical mineral plan and its importance, we're recognizing the wave that's currently, out there in the global marketplace for minerals for energy transition, with various supports and incentives. And, as a province, we would be remiss not to be kind of dialing our, gauges towards looking at participating in those opportunities. But I want to be very clear, all minerals in Newfoundland and Labrador are important. And as evidenced by, some of my colleagues here today in the gold space, as a prime example. It's very important. We're looking at in excess of $200 million roughly in terms over the last number of years in exploration, and a large part of that has been gold.
Thank you. Darren, how does Newfoundland fit in Firefly's overall strategy to be part of that critical minerals supply chain?
Yeah, look, it's a critical part of our platform moving forward, and one of the key things in order to meet the targets that are needed for critical minerals is investment. And it doesn't matter where the money comes from, it needs to go into the ground to make it happen. One of the stats that really frightens me is that we're going to need more copper in the world between now and 2050 than what's been previously mined in the entire 3,000 years of human prehistory. So, where is all that copper going to come from? And, a province like Newfoundland, which, we're an advanced copper play, but there are so many more exploration opportunities there. And I think investment into the exploration will start to fill some of that void. But, for us personally, as a company, we're just motivated to get the copper out of the ground as soon as possible. you know, get the supply chain secured for like-minded countries, and Canada and the US and Australia partner on a lot of mineral projects, and I think it's really important for us to really keep it going and keep the momentum happening, and encourage other people to invest in the province as well, because the more global investment that happens in the country, in the province, it's better for everyone, because you know the province, from what I've seen, is blessed. You've got hydro energy, you've got wind energy, you've got all of these abundance of minerals, and don't underestimate how blessed the province is compared to other places in the world.
Thank you. There's actually, this is a little sidebar, but there's something that I wanted to interject as a woman that's a real benefit of working in mining in Newfoundland and Labrador, and that is it is very, very friendly to women. I came out of a high-tech 25 years as an executive there, and kind of launched myself into the family business in Newfoundland. I was immediately embraced. My male peers helped to elevate me, find me opportunity. They're always supporting me. It's really been fantastic. It's a very, very supportive environment. That literally day one, I was invited to be part of the Newfoundland and Labrador Prospectors Association as the director of inclusion and diversity. So that's just one example there, but I can only aspire to give my peers as much support that they give me as a woman.
Well, based on Angie's all initiatives that she's doing, including this panel, is that I started calling her the ambassador to the province. Unofficial. But she's certainly a mover and shaker behind the scenes, so thanks, Angie.
Absolutely.
I have one last question for everyone, and I just wanted to give you an opportunity to interject a point of your preference. It could be something related to reinforcing about your company, you know, why people should buy, or it could be a last remark about Newfoundland and Labrador as a jurisdiction. Your preference. Well, I'll start with Jeff.
Oh, okay, great. We've only got 2 minutes, so check out Exploits Discovery if you like. We're well cashed up. Great shareholders, great jurisdiction, of course, on the Appleton Fault. But I guess I wanted to give a shout out to the government, because, again, welcoming investment in from Firefly and Calibre and others, that B2 coming into the province. I think people are companies starting to realize the benefit of being in that jurisdiction. And Garrett's doing a great job on development. So I guess really, visually, and what I see is we go from conference to conference sometimes, creating awareness. The government's doing a great job, like Paul being here, of course, with Andrew Parsons. We see them going booth to booth, working hard, creating awareness. And I think they're just doing a great job. So maybe just a small shout out to the government for doing that, for creating the environment for us to be successful.
Yeah.
I agree 100%. I'm about to present after this thing, so I'll keep it short. I'll tell you all the good things about Maritime after that. But yeah, I will echo Jeff's comments about the support and the great things happening in the province. We just went through an entire permitting process, so we're a little, you know, we're fresh off of that, and we had a great experience. And we're here now, getting ready for development, and we can't wait. It's really fun. Yep.
Maybe to have the Darren, and then we'll have Paul close.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to repeat everything the other guys said, but I agree absolutely wholeheartedly. And yeah, just like to reiterate, you know, our appreciation for the government support. And, you know, obviously we're looking to create a lot of jobs on the Bayvert Peninsula. Like when we start constructing a new mill, for example, we're going to need hundreds of people coming into the town, spending their money, you know, getting the guys back from other provinces that are working away and they all want to come home. You know, we're really keen to make sure that it stays local, and really look forward to working with the government on the permitting, and also making sure that we've got enough infrastructure in the Bayvert Peninsula to actually attract those people to come there to live. So we're really looking forward to the future.
Thank you. Paul?
Okay, thank you. You know, I guess in closing, we're getting close on time here. You know, I guess certainly, you know, I think there's a couple of points I'd like to make. You know, well, number one, of course, is our vast geological diversity. It's our openness, our transparency. You know, we're largely underexplored, and we have a track record of world-class mineral discoveries in this province. I mean, certainly, you know, generational mining experience and know-how, and a proven track record to development. And couple that with the ability for new energy, renewable energy. They seem to be all the right ingredients to make things happen. You know, and I guess I'd like to say thank you. You know, I think thank you is very important for those who are involved in our industry, our prospectors, our junior explorers, our developers, and of course the investors that are behind them. You know, certainly their confidence and, you know, demonstrated confidence in choosing Newfoundland and Labrador as a jurisdiction to conduct mineral exploration and development, you know, is highly welcome, and it's, you know, certainly we're very appreciative of, as a government, of those who help make Newfoundland and Labrador a good place to do this business. So,
Thank you.
and certainly I also need to say thank you to the conference organizers. You know, being invited here today as a differing jurisdiction, if you will, is very much appreciated, and we're very happy to have been able to participate. And I will leave with one final comment, and you know, if there's interest in the room of anyone to really get a better understanding of what's happening in Newfoundland and Labrador in the mineral industry, would certainly welcome anyone to visit and join in our annual Mineral Resources Review and Canadian Institute of Mining mining show that takes place the first week of November each year, and it's very well attended, and you'll get a good overview of what's happening and where the opportunities might lie. Thank you.
I just wanted to say one last thing. If anybody is interested in a road trip, an investor road trip around Newfoundland and Labrador to discover the potential there, I would be very, very happy to organize that, and I know this whole team there would support that as well. So reach out to me, and I'd be super, as I said, very pleased to do that and make it happen. And we'd add in some Newfoundland flavor and screech-ins, and we'd have a time, as Newfoundlanders say. And thank you, everyone, for your attending this session. Thank you to my distinguished panelists, and especially thank you to Joanne and team and the supporters and sponsors of this fantastic event.